Oh, BSNA, we are live. It's going live.
Let me know when you up.
I think
Pause.
I'm pause. I think I'm all the way up.
Pause.
Zero, zero watching, but I'm up.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio One Tutorials, and today we got MG the Future with us for this week in hip hop. We know we a little late, but we are here for you.
Hey, it's MG. You know what I'm about. It was fresh off the holidays. Good to see and hear everybody's in good spirits for the most part. Let's go ahead and get spicy messy. But before we get started, there was someone who left me quite a spicy comment, CMP,
Oh
and I
yeah.
and I defended it like it was me, but I think he was talking about you when I reread it.
Oh, he needs to relax.
Let me reference this real quick. I want your thoughts in real time because he'll probably be watching.
No, I'll shoot him a whole. I'll shoot him a whole video, bro.
Curse? What did he say? He said curse. I think he said something about us cursing. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Oh no, not that.
He said, "Here it is, real music for you, the brother. No disrespect to you, brother, but I want CMP's live take about this." He says, "First of all, this is still somewhat a free country. What difference does it make that content is expressed over the internet to public forums?" And this is a comment to our last This Week in Hip Hop. He says on YouTube, the guy asks for some crack software. He's talking about Sony Digital. He has every right to ask, just like you have every right to promote some sick, blasphemous person seriously lacking the intelligence to carry a conversation without a profane word coming out of his mouth, which in my honest opinion, shows flagrant disrespect for the listeners, including young children aspiring to be musicians, producers, engineers. Now, as far as some piracy is concerned, I feel like it's a slap to the face of some of those who do wish to do the right thing and legal support and purchase, only to find out they're being forced to be timed out with restrictions and when and how they're able to utilize the product. If piracy is such a huge concern, make the software to where it cannot be cracked, whatever that means. I am certain that there are many people who have paid full price for software yet prefer to use a cracked version without these painfully unnecessary obstacles. I paid for the software, now let me use it however I want without any repercussions. So he so he went kind of saucy and then he went into this, the moral dilemma of piracy. What do you think?
No, well, first, I mean, like commenters are so fucking whack, bro. Sometimes because it's like, bro, like I'm a motherfucking construction worker. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm an electrician. That's how we communicate in the field. I
Facts.
come on to YouTube. I don't give a fuck about your kids. I don't give a fuck about your church. I don't give a fuck about your predisposition to me saying fuck. So fuck you and fuck your opinion on crack software. And if you want to champion using pirated software like a fucking idiot because you can't figure out how to get a breakout box for your Mac Pro like I do, I got two dongles in my Mac Pro, and I got a fader port, and I got a MIDI out. I figured it out. You know what I'm saying? The dumbass construction worker who can't string together a sentence without saying fuck, bro. Fuck out of here.
Bars.
I love you, bro. I love you,
Yo,
bro. I just don't
yo.
appreciate you picking on me. You know what I mean? Like the way that the way the house that I grew up in, and the occupation that I do every day, it contributes to my makeup, and I feel like the whole cussing thing, because I deal with that probably every like 3 to 4 months. I get someone who's like in church or something like that, and they're like, yo, I really love the information that you give, but I don't know why you have to drop the F bombs. And it's like, for me, communicating like that doesn't it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just words, right?
Yeah.
You're probably coming from like I'm not even gonna go into that, but what I'm trying to get at is, like Gary V. There was a teacher who was asking him like, "Yo, you don't have to curse. Why do you do it?" And it's like projected as like, oh, okay, if you're successful, if you've reached a certain level of intellect, you should be beyond using those words. And I don't subscribe to that, because the way that I feel, and the way that my words come across, it's one and the same. It's very transparent. I have a mind that moves incredibly fast, and if I don't say how it sounds in my head,
Yeah.
it's not gonna come out right. Let me let
You
up.
gotta you gotta edit in real time, and ain't no one got time for that. And just
Yeah.
like one of the chat people said, they got YouTube for kids though, so they can relax.
Yeah, I mean, just know when you come to the CMP channel, parental advisory is parental advisory, explicit fucking content, bro. Like,
I be cursing all the time too, and that's the funny thing because he said it. Because when he said it, I was confused. I thought he was talking about me. Because when I start getting worked up and my blood pressure start going up, it's like fuck, shit, bitch, stupid ass. I be out there because, like you said, those are the words that best describe that feeling, and it shows you the intensity or gravitas of the subject. But when you talk to me normally, I don't have a need for that. And then, especially around certain people, your friends and stuff. If your friends curse, you curse. Like, it's not like like what you're saying. They're getting at like we're like a pastor at a church or something. And we're like passing the offering, and we're keeping up these old 1950s ideals of what a well-spoken, informative teacher or intellectual should be. But when you're on YouTube learning, isn't that the thing you say this is not? So why are you applying these rules to us?
Yeah, bro.
So I want us to be more official, and if you want us to be more official, then that changes everything. It stops becoming what it is.
That shit's phony, bro. I'm not even gonna flex on the smart shit, dude. Like, that's why I don't care, man. So let's talk. You surprised me with that shit, bro. I appreciate it. That was spicy. Fun. That was fun.
Everyone say, "Yo, we spicy, bro."
You hit me with the spice right away. So, first things, okay. So yeah, I wanted to do. I know you've talked about this on your streams. I've done some streams, but I just wanted to do like a condensed short form. You know, we've both lived with you've had your MPC live for a week, right?
Yeah.
And I've been going hard with it ever since you hit me on Instagram and showed me the gold box, and I was like, this bitch. So you guys don't know behind the scenes, bro. MG's been hitting me up. He's like, dog, if you don't do something with that, I'm gonna have to buy one. And would you please do something with it so I don't have to buy it? So I got to apologize to your girlfriend for going into the Christmas money. You know what I mean? If I would have just made the video, y'all could have got presents for her and the family. Nah, but just off rip. So the reason why I had bought it was I was in a studio in Orlando, and somebody had came into a session. It was a session with like 8 producers in it, and he had dropped his MPC X down, and I had heard he was using the Sunny Digital kit, and at first I thought that was very counterproductive. I'm like, why are you using the Sunny Digital kit, you know, in an MPC? And then I heard it coming out, and I heard the vibe, I heard the weight. I know that kit very well, and it sounded different than when I use it in Studio One. And I understood. I was like, man, this is, and I had always heard, you know, my production CMP is a guy named Rich Palencia, and he's interned with Jimmy Douglas. He's he's worked with Timbaland, and he has the whole, his room, he's got like 3 MPC 4000s. He's always telling me like, dude, you got to get an MPC, you got to clip the outputs, always about a slower workflow but with a better sonic result. And it wasn't until I became such a productivity beast that I was like, okay, I'm now fast enough that I could add something slower to the workflow and still be productive. So that's what this week was all about with MPC for me. I started with one template. I curated one single drum kit because I have a certain vibe that I'm going for right now this year that I'm going to stick with and be consistent with. And the more that I used it, and I'm using it 100% standalone. You're 100% standalone too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, because you're not a coward. So yo, if you got MPC Live or MPC X and you were using that trash software, you are a coward, sir. Step into the real life, bro. Unplug that computer, man. We ain't spend all this money to use a USB, dog. So
listen, I got the software just to update the firmware. Facts.
So, dude, I'm going through it, and the more that I'm using it, the more that and this is such a because my first production sequencer was an MPC 2000, but I never sampled. I didn't sample. What I used it for was a 16 channel MIDI sequencer that I could trigger a multi-timbral sound module from. I was using it to program the JV1080.
Lit.
Okay, so that's that's what I was doing with that. I never had the experience of sampling drums into it and then going out. You know, these beats I was just recording straight on a CDR. You know, out of the RCAs with you know, some the CDR recorder that you get from Circuit City. But so using this sample, I call it like a modular workflow, you know, because you work in the patterns. And it was crazy once I understood Ableton. Now whenever I get into one of these pattern based workflows, because I'm a very linear type of producer, when I get into the it took me 3 days to realize, holy shit, this is standalone Ableton. You know what I mean? Just, I mean, not as deep, but that's essentially what it is. So I'm looking at, so I'm breaking down the language, and now I see, okay, drum program, that's a drum rack. So let me take all my kicks and throw it on there. Let me make all my favorite snares on another drum track, and now let me make all my favorite hi-hats. So that's how I got set up in my template now, putting every sound on a different track as opposed to having all your drums on one track, and then that makes it easier to you know, to build sequences better. So I got really fast with the workflow. It's really awesome. It's super scary. Got a whole bunch of sample kits, and the way that I work in it is probably similar to you. Is I just get a sample, you know, chop it or loop it, do the drums. I figured out the whole 808 thing, making you know, how to make key groups and stuff like that, and that's really the whole deal with MPC, is that everything is named so much differently than how it is in a linear DAW, and it's and they're not named, and it's not beginner nomenclature like FL Studio. So once I understood what a key group was, once I understood the hierarchy of sequences, tracks, and now I could do everything in it. So I went from liking the analog on that, taking it even further, because you know, I really going after sound design this year. Really going after the loop packs, really going after placements, and I want all you guys from my channel, you know, MG's channel, you guys should know, get into making loops, man. The making loops and making samples, that is going to be your door. Like, if you're a placement chaser, that's the new hustle. And if you look on Twitter, what you're gonna, the old hustle used to be, you know, Meek Mill would be like, need beats, send them. Now the producers whose emails that Meek Mill actually fucking opens, they're asking you to send them samples.
Yes.
So yes,
like, someone last night hit me up. Shout out to the brother Sicario. He out there in Detroit, and he was making these tweets, and then he DM'd me a screenshot, and it was some well-known producer, and he was like, "Yo, bro, you got to hook up on the loops." And Sicario's like, "Yeah, I got you. I can make some loops for you, whatever." And then Sicario went to Twitter. He was like, "What do you send to the producer you look up to?" Like, it kind of blew his mind, because why is this guy asking me for loops? But me and you both know that's been the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
In the background, why some of your favorite producers have placements.
Yeah.
It's been like that.
And it's crazy, because now that behavior is normalized.
Yeah.
So you guys, and this is this is the last thing I'm gonna say, because I want your thoughts on the MPC experience. But you know, I've been going around to different beat selling communities, asking people, because I want to understand why more people don't see it the way that I see it. Because to me, it's very simple. You should make loops. You can get placements off them. You could probably sell more loops than beats. But producers spend way more on their career than rappers do. You know what I mean?
Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you know, there's producers out there that'll drop $1,000 just for a little bit of warmth. But yeah, yeah. But shout out to MG Stream Gang. But yeah, you guys really want to consider getting into that bag, because you're going to notice over the next couple years that's gonna be the little cheat code to get into the placement game. People, your favorite producer isn't going to want to get the same samples that you have access to. They're not going to want to go to Splice. They're not going to want to go to Kingsway. They're going to, everybody, that's what everybody's going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for the new sauce. And if you're proficient at melodies, if you've been watching MG fucking hack music theory, if you've been watching me hack music theory, and you got Scalar and you got Melodyne, you got Easy Keys, put this shit to use, bro. You can wind up doing something with it. So you got the gold box. Tell me what it was like from day one until now.
All right, so the gold box. When I picked it up, it was an impulse buy. You know, it was a pre-planned impulse buy. I honestly didn't want to charge that much money for something. So I went into Guitar Center like a boss. I was like, yo, y'all got an MPC Live? There's like, this is the only thing we got. And by the way he described it, I knew he had no idea what he had. So I said, all right, is this the best price you can get for me? He said, well, let me talk to a sales manager. And, you know, I talked like that because I was about to walk out, because I could have ordered it on Sweetwater, even like $50 less.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I had to go into the store knowing if they flex on me, I can get it cheaper on Sweetwater. So they didn't flex on me. You know, they went through the processing and stuff and try to sell me on the insurance. My dumbass didn't buy it because I didn't have that much left to charge. But I'm going back. Guitar Center gives you 45 days to do it. And I was thinking, as much as I carry this thing around, I may want to do it. So like if Akai surprises us with an MPC Live 2.0 in 2 years, what happens is if something happens to this, or if I accidentally scratch the glass and I walk into Guitar Center, they have to respect that and replace it. And if they don't have these no more, they have to give you the new one. So I'm thinking before my 45 days is over, I need to go ahead and add the insurance to it. It was like 240, like 180 to 240 though. So I'm gonna wait and see if I'm feeling that. But anyway, so I got it. I took it home. I turned it on. It was the first unit that you could turn on and just have things ready for you. You know, the templates and demo songs, very useful. You get to see what's going on and hear what's going on. And, you know, I went through all my heebie-jeebies of it reminding me of SP404 this way, Machine this way, Ableton Live that way. And then I snapped into it. I said, all right, I got to learn how to use this as fast as possible. And the YouTube videos, man, they're like our live chats, bro. They talk for like 2 hours just to show you how to start a sequence. And I'm like, damn, no one really is succinct. And then, you know, some people will recommend to us certain channels and they break up their videos into micro videos and you don't get the full picture. So I started looking up the nomenclature like he was saying. All right, I know I have an idea of what a program is, but how do I make my own program and browse samples? I always figure out how to bring my own shit into there first. Mm-hmm. So I bring my own shit in. Then I go, okay, how do I make a sequence? And that was the longest. Learning how to make a sequence on there that's quantized appropriately, that you can swing, and that your different tracks are separated. Once you get through that matrix, the rest of the shit's a breeze. You can stumble across everything else. Just getting sounds in and sequencing the sounds, tempo, swing, quantize. Once you get that foundation, you're out of here. And then once I got out of here, I started to hear it. And I was hearing it in my headphones. I turned that bitch all the way up, and it was like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, what?
Bro, the snares.
Those are the same fucking drums on my fucking Atlas. Those are the same drums. I made sure of it. It wasn't their drums. It was my drums. The same drums, like, boom, boom, boom. And then, you know, you put that 60 to 70% swing on it with the sample chop, like, oh, I'm in my Ninth Wonder bag. Like, oh, bitch, gotcha. So I got really excited.
You had an inspired moment from a piece of gear.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I had the same experience. I got like same as you. Once I got the sequences down, I heard the drums. I got super inspired. I made 15 beats in 3 days. I haven't done that in months. And it was a thing where I was going back and listening to the beats, which is something that I never do, because the sound is there, and it's just so cool. Like, I can't believe that because I'm using like the cheesy thin snares and stuff like that, or like or like the new MSX packs where they have the trap drums where they purposely thin out the acoustic snare, but you run it through the MPC and it still pokes out like it's slapping up a 2x4. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's not hype, unfortunately, but as me and you have discussed, not everyone can hear. I don't know if they can't hear, but I just don't think everyone hears it. So I'm excited. and
Everybody,
that's most important.
yeah, everybody cannot hear it, and that's okay. I wanted to ask you, do you think it is something that is necessary, needed, or is it even for everybody?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the main reason is time. Like, I may have speed tracked my learning into 2 to 3 days, because I had a basis of other experience with hardware and software, and it helped me learn it faster. But if you don't have those experiences, and let's say you just use Fruity Loops or Reason for a long time, it's going to take you much longer to just get your head wrapped around it.
Mm-hmm.
Or unless we start doing tutorials and make it a little bit easier, but just getting your mind around the limits of it is going to throw people off because it's limiting. It's very limiting. It's not like, you do whatever you want to do. It's very to a particular workflow, and you having to get used to that will put you off of it. So I can see those people have a hard time. And then the sound thing. Not everybody wants that snare, cracking, head, rocking, swing, and all that kind of stuff. You don't want to do that on a Lex Luger type beat. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So it's not for everybody.
Do you enjoy the limitations of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. I think it took me back to a simpler time where when you have limitations, you put more emphasis on what you have. So I'm loading like Kingsway sample packs into it, and there's no Melodyne in there. There's no scaler. So I'm not sitting here, thinking about like the Omnisphere layers that I'm going to put underneath it to, and how I'm going to add more sauce to a sample. What I'm doing is making sure that I make a fucking banger, that those drums are correct. You know what I mean?
Correctness.
It's sonic correctness. And that's what with all this stuff that we teach, and with all of the options that we have right now, for me and where I'm at in my life, it was nice just to get a reminder that I make beats, and the beat needs to slap. You know what I mean? That's most important, first and foremost. I agree with you. I do not believe it's for everybody. I don't think that it is something that is going to do the same thing for everybody that it did for me, because some people are horribly frustrated by the smallest limitation. You know what I mean? So that's good. So I had an experience, right? Like I was telling you, I was mentioning that I loaded up a bunch of Kingsway samples onto my Lacy. I've got an external Lacy tied to it. I don't like taking my gear outside. I don't do that. Like unless I'm going to another inside place, unless I'm going to a studio or something. So I'm cool with the external for now. And so I'm uploading a beat a day for the foreseeable future in a playlist called 90s Trap. And a bunch of them were a bunch of flipped Kingsway samples out of different packs. Now, Kingsway, what they have done, and what a lot of people haven't noticed, is they've started a record label, right? So it's not just Frank Dukes. And I went and looked at this. Up until this year, Kingsway had released, I think it was 9 packs. Somebody in the chat will probably correct me if I'm off by 1 or 2. So they had released 9 packs. And it was all Frank Duke's original stuff, solo. What it appears they've done is they've started a label. They've made a legit music library, and in doing so, they've enlisted other producers, other sample creators, reaching out to a couple of them because I want to talk to them. Young producers with credits, producers who you don't know, but they're all really talented and they all get the vibe. Now, in the course of doing this, something has changed from these packs, because I've uploaded Kingsway samples before. When I upload these my bad. So 9 packs before, they have more than doubled their output this year.
Yeah.
In 1 year. In 1 year, I believe Kingsway packs started like 4 years ago, maybe 5. Those used to take a long time to come out. Now in a year, and they're all good. They're all quality. So when I uploaded my beat, using a Kingsway sample, and these are and these are ones that are scheduled to drop. Everyone that had a Kingsway sample, I got a content notice, not a copyright strike, right? So, and a lot of people don't understand this about YouTube. So, if you use a copyrighted song, most cases, unless unless it's like a super restricted song for whatever reason, most cases they'll send you a notice and they'll say, hey bro, you know, we recognize this copyrighted material that was in your video. You don't need to worry about anything. This isn't going to go negative against your account. We're just going to allow the copyright holder to monetize your video.
Yep.
Which I don't monetize my videos anyway, so that's not a big deal for me. So
I do. That's a huge fucking deal. Don't say that.
I said for me. For me, it's for me it's not a big deal. I play, you know, I play warm up music in my streams before I get going to catch a vibe. I like the freedom to be able to do that. I think it works better for my content personally. So what it appears that Kingsway has done, because they've started a label, they have registered all of their new sample packs with Content ID. And what that has done is anybody who has a YouTube channel that creates with a Kingsway pack is not going to be able to monetize the video that they use the Kingsway sample with. What are your thoughts on that?
Trash. Absolutely trash. So there's a couple things that go into that. The reason why I say it's trash for me is because YouTube doesn't pay us a lot of money to begin with.
Facts.
So like, if you're going to monetize my 900 views and I could have made that $1.09 from that one video, and you take that dollar away from me, then what am I? So a couple things. Why am I going to sit here and flex and try to flip your samples? Two, the bad move is when they do monetize it and they take your streams to pay them some arbitrary account somewhere and you get nothing for it. I'd be much happier if the Kingsway service that's doing that split it, because I had some companies split it with me. I don't know who does it. I don't know if that's a human or not, but you'll get this check, you'll get this cross through the $sign where half of it goes to the claimant and then the other half goes to you still. I much prefer that. That I could do with. But them just saying no, demonetizing it altogether or taking it all from you, I think that's a trash move considering what they make loops for. You make loops for producers to flip it. So let's say if I wasn't a content creator, being very excited about the newest Kingsway, showing you guys how to use Serato sample. Let's just say I'm such and such selling beats, right? If I'm a sample-based producer and I listen to MG and CMP say, use Track Live, use Royalty Free, or use whoever, and you have 3 Kingsway packs, you got 60 beats you made, and you upload all those, and you demonetize all of those after you worked all social media to get 10,000 views each, you're going to be very sick. And I don't think they should be monetizing us, the producer. But that then does go to what you're talking about. Producers are the biggest ones to monetize off of. So Kingsway, by and large, has pretty much attacked us. But I don't think they meant that. I think maybe what they're really trying to do with that technology is to find all the unlicensed or the unofficial people using it, and you actually get to see what channel is hosting it. So they might be on some shit where they're trying to track down how far their reach is, and then also see if they can find those websites that steal their stuff and offer it on YouTube for free too. So if they want to fix this before it gets ugly, like some internet money stuff, they need to have it so that people like you and people like me who buy their packs and do videos, we can opt in to be whitelisted. If they do not do that, then there's no need for us to talk about them publicly ever again.
Yeah, I mean, it all starts with raising awareness here and talking about it. And you know, I know people in the chat have bought Kingsway packs before, and you know, you guys, this might be something you want to hit them up about. The S Class Records asked a great question: what does that mean for the rappers who cop beats using Kingsway samples? You know, that's a whole different perspective, because now you're talking about that rapper can't monetize his song.
The music video.
Or the music video. It's I think from a sample creator perspective, I think it's a brilliant move, business wise, because because it's consistent with their model. Their model has always been, we're the top flight sample service. We use the real synthesizers. We put the real sauce on it. We use real musicians to create this. So you're gonna pay a little bit more for the stems. We want our prices higher so that everybody does not use them. They don't want everybody to use them. They don't like what they're doing. I don't suspect that it's. I think this is done intentionally to turn off YouTube producers from using their stuff. Ooh. Because Kingsway library benefits way more from Kendrick Lamar using one of their loops on Untitled Unmastered than they do from CMP using the same exact loop in one of his internet beats, which is a real situation that happened. Like I had never heard the song Levitate. I used the same sample, I put it out, and then I got a whole bunch of comments that just said levitate, levitate, levitate. I'm like, what the fuck is levitate? And then I found out we had the same sample. So it's like from their perspective, they benefit way more from getting an actual placement, from getting a real record, than they do because like you said, the YouTube payout isn't a lot. But this is definitely something that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention through my experience. For me, it doesn't matter. Like I'm putting my beats on YouTube not to sell leases anymore. I'm putting them up because I want to do what they do. I want to create, like with my beats, I want to create a boutique product that if you fucking want this, you need to hit me up and we need to talk about what you're doing, and I need to hear your music and we need to build a relationship. Banger is not liking it. He's talking about don't sell it. All in One the Great says, I guess I'll get more Kingsway packs for free online. You wildin', bro. That's gonna be the response. That's gonna be the response when you do stuff like this. The internet will respond. You're gonna get somebody. You can get somebody who's salty, who has some money, because not everybody, like the way those packs wind up out there. Like, for example, when Internet Money was doing the all-in-one pack, somebody who just didn't like them bought it and put it on Reddit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, that's how all that shit leaks. You're gonna come across somebody who watches this stream or who experiences that on their channel, and they're like, oh, this is trash. This is going to Reddit. This is going to AudioZ. This is going to Majesty. You know what I mean? This is going up on torrent sites.
But then that makes them more known. Gives them more clout. It feeds itself. It's an interesting piracy beast to be in, and that's why I used to have the suspicion back in the day that a lot of the cracks to our software comes from the company itself.
Oh, I believe that. The ones with time bombs definitely did.
Yeah, so I think Kingsway might be hitting us with the time bomb thing. My only stigma against that is that if you have paying customers who happen to be content creators or YouTube producers, please consider opting them into a whitelist so they can make their little $5 to $10 back so they can buy your packs again, dummy. But anyway, for anyone who doesn't know, if you want to do that to your own material and how Kingsway may be doing it or a way that you can do it, just head over to songtrust.com. I'll have it on my screen. Songtrust is a global royalty collection agency, and basically what will happen is you pay them $100 and they'll register 100 works. So if you're a sample pack creator and you do like 10 loops, 10 times, you got 10 packs, 10 loops each, you register those for $100. And what it'll do is it'll register you to BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, every performing rights agency in the world. And then it also protects you digitally. So you'll have the same kind of pull. Basically, if someone stole your pack, you'll get alerted that it showed up on this stream or this website. And then you make the decision whether you want to let them fly or if you want it to be pulled. And I'm assuming Kingsway is doing something similar, if not more sophisticated, because they do have industry connects. But if you don't have industry connects, Songtrust and $100 is how you do the same. And
the Songtrust account is for a certain amount of uploads, or is it for unlimited uploads?
It's $100 for the first 100. then they start selling you slots. Like, all right, so it's 100 for 100, and then if you need 100 more, it's whatever, or if it's 50 more, it's whatever.
Oh, so it's like iTunes barcodes.
Yeah.
Type of deal. All right, bet. So now let's get into the spicy sauce. We got a chat full of producers. I want to talk to you guys. There was that super random tweet from somebody who didn't even appear like they were affected by the music industry at all, and that bitch went up at I think it was, what was it, Christmas night or something?
Yes.
It was Christmas night. They gave me a Christmas present. So the tweet was it was very brazen. It was talking about it basically said that producers are more important than rappers, that producers can't do anything without rappers, that it's the rappers who make the song hits, and that rappers don't deserve, or that producers do not deserve the same credit as a rapper.
Right.
Off the top of your head, what do you feel about that?
Producers already don't get the same credit. So just on paper, we deserve the songwriting split we always get. I think what she was talking about maybe been socially, like producers need to not become stars or not have their names in the title or not be Metro Boomin and out because, we're just part of a bigger puzzle. But the way she went about it was mad troll. Like, I was like, as long as it doesn't affect what ASCAP and everybody else is doing when you register your works, she say whatever the hell she want to say. But then that spills into the next conversation, was like, well, how valuable is a producer, or how, what are the different ways? Can a producer exist without a rapper, and can a rapper exist without a producer? And that's what the comments blew up into.
Yeah, I don't like conversations like that in short form, like on Twitter and stuff like that, because there's no nuance, and it's hard to, like, I was going back and forth with a brother, and I was saying my opinion, which I'm gonna get to in a second, and all of his responses were like he was talking to somebody else. Like, it was like so here's how I feel about that situation, and it's multifaceted. So the whole thing, I want to frame it because the main clapback to her was that producers don't need rappers because EDM people make money.
Yeah.
And that's fucking fine. But the thing is, like, everybody who was responding in that fashion, like from the most popular people, like Nick Mira had a comment like that, to the guy with 6 followers who was saying that, none of them motherfuckers make EDM albums, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that whole perspective from a rap producer is fucking trash. It's stupid. It's stupid for any rap producer to have that perspective. You're just being a contrarian, and you're not thinking it out. So let's walk through this, right? We're gonna walk through it. Okay. So hip hop is a culture. Okay. Hip hop, the culture, existed before rap music. The rapper was the last person in the culture to show up. He was the last. All right. So rap music showed up after hip hop culture. Rap music is one of the, I think it might be the only genre. Yeah, it's the only genre that's defined by the vocalist.
Yeah.
The reason why people fight me and won't concede that trap is not a subgenre of hip hop, but a genre unto itself, is because people rap on trap beats. So people can't get past that because anything that is rapped on has to be rap music, according to us right now. Therefore, if the genre is defined by a rapper, and you cannot make rap music without rappers.
Right.
To further illustrate this point, all you fucking guys have beat sites. Why do you have beat sites? You have beat sites so that a rapper will come along and pick your beat and pay you money for it.
Pick me.
On top of that, you have beat sites and you have social media networks and you have Postman videos and you have BusyWorks Beats courses and you watch DJ Pain 1 videos, all so that you can figure out how to be heard by more famous rappers.
Yeah.
Okay? Your whole existence in this culture is to be picked by a rapper. So for you to come up out of your fucking face and say that you are somehow more important than the person who the genre is named for, and if you remove that person, it stops being that genre of music, is a little weird to me. And I think the reason why this happens, and I want to take it back. The reason why I think the reason why producers can even think this shit right now is because of the content of rap music right now. Okay, so when rap music first came out, the things after they got out of the have fun party stage, like once they started really talking, that was all crucial music in the American history canon. It was a side of life that wasn't shown on TV. It was a side of life that wasn't shown on the news. And it was something that people needed to experience. Okay? People needed to hear NWA. People needed to hear Snoop. People needed to hear Wu-Tang. People needed to hear Native Tongues. People needed to hear Chris. People needed to hear Public Enemy. We needed to hear those stories. They needed to hear Jay-Z's first album. That was stuff that needed to be heard. The rap song has no personality without a story, right? Tupac, for example, right? He might not have been the most amazing lyricist, but he did the most with rap in the history of rap, because what he did for black people that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because the people who typically talk about Tupac, when they're doing it, are black people. But from a Chico's perspective, from somebody who's around a lot of white people who fuck with hip hop, what Tupac did was he instilled a level of empathy for the plight of ghetto people all over the world that they would have never had. You know what I'm saying? Tupac and his songs would have, little white kids at the table arguing with their parents, you know what I'm saying, calling them out for their racist shit. That's what rap music did. Now we're in a place with rap music where it's just a whole bunch of jits talking about how they're gonna fuck on my bitch 8 different ways for three fucking verses. You know what I'm saying? And do coke and shit. So that's what we're saying. So it then becomes, hey, these guys really aren't doing anything. So I feel like I have more value. Yep. Now, a lot of people, S-Class is talking about what's the last a cappella album that did numbers, and S-Class, that's where you got this fucked up. It's not that we understand that in order to make a rap song, you need a beat and you need a rapper, right? You do need a beat. But here's the thing, guys. I want you to pay very close attention. We're in a place with technology and with YouTube and with loops and with drum kits and with MIDI drum kits and with easy DAWs. Oh, you know what I'm about to do. You know what I'm about to do. Where if y'all keep talking this fly shit, these rappers, they're just gonna get off your beat site. They're gonna hop on studio1tutorials.com. They're gonna hop on mgthefuture.com. They're gonna ride over to BusyWorks Beats.
They're just gonna make their own shit.
And they're just gonna make their own shit. I'm gonna show him how to hack music. MG's gonna show him how to hack music. We're gonna sell him the drum packs. I'm gonna sell him the samples. MG's gonna sell him the samples. I mean, dude, if they, I mean, bro, if they ever figure out that they could buy construction kits for $30 and have 5 tracked out beats and mix their own shit, why would they do it? It completely baffles me that producers need rappers for money. They need rappers for clout. They need rappers for success. But yet you're just so comfortable going on Twitter talking about rappers won't pay me for nothing. I'm more important than a rapper. I deserve most of the credit. No, you fucking don't. Because you know what you can't do? You can't look good on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't look good on stage. You can't look you can't look good in front of a camera. You know what I'm saying? You can't walk into Atlantic Records and have somebody say, "Hey, you know what I see in him? I see that special thing." Because that's rare. It's very rare. I know MG, you're of the opinion that you can, you know, make anybody successful.
No. I'm not of that opinion.
So you believe that for the big dogs there's an intangible.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
There's an X factor for. Well, no, what I'm saying is I do not think the magic is intangible. I think everyone can learn magic. I don't think every sorcerer is the same power level. No. No. I think everyone can learn magic. I don't think they're all the same, though. I don't think they're all at the same throw. You know what I mean?
I think
you go from nothing to something, yes. I don't think you go from something to superstar. No, I don't think that's for everybody.
Right. I think what happens when we have this discussion is that producers get into their feelings because we're in an era now where, and this happens with every discussion I see, right? Somebody can concede, oh, okay, you're right, but there's always a but. And the but follows with a false equivalency. Okay? And the false equivalency in this situation is that we're both just as important. I don't believe that's true. I have a couple proteges that I've taught how to be amazing producers at super young ages within a 1-year span. I know that I can teach anybody how to use a piano roll. I know I could teach anybody how to break down beats. And rappers, what you guys don't understand is rappers, if they ever decide to produce their own stuff, they're going to have such a tremendous advantage over you because they don't need to be taught arrangement. They don't need to be taught sound selection. Yeah. Rappers pick the best sounds. Imagine if Rick Ross decided he wanted to be a producer. You know what I mean? Like, he would be fantastic at it.
Yeah. I think it's a time thing. We're going into that time compression. So like anytime things get too small, it gets compressed and flattened out. And then what happens is you start adding complexity back to it again. And it just does this evolving thing of zip and unzip, zip and unzip. And you spoke on that with like your workflow to MPC. You're saying, hey, I compressed my workflow in Studio One so tight that I can afford to re-add complexity to it. And then I'm going to compress that. Same thing with rapping. Rappers today, because the bar is perceivably low, they compress the complexity of lyricism. Now they just need a good pocket and a good flow and a good image. Now they can add complexity. They can't afford to learn how to put these damn splice loops and Nick Mirror 808s together because it's adding complexity to their skill set. So I guess what you're trying to ring the bell alarm on is kind of what I said. It's kind of why I got a camera, kind of why I got an MPC, kind of why I do YouTube. I'm adding complexity to my Neolithic prehistoric skill set of being a beat programmer. I started as a beat programmer. Then you add complexity. All right, well now I can compose. Now I'm a pianist or something. Now I can make sample packs. Now I can record people. Like I spend most of my time learning how to record people because rappers don't necessarily invest locally, so they need somewhere to lay down those struggle raps. Like I added all this complexity only because I knew what you're saying. Making beats just ain't enough.
No, it's facts, and I'm just worried about like I'm just worried about like, God, I hate this term, but like just the state of the producer community because
you said it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, but y'all really fucking up. Y'all are really fucking up. There is
It exists.
you cannot take your number one customers you and sit here and talk down to them, bro. When you go into like, dude, like rappers, they know more about studio work than you'll even give them credit for. Like bro, I tracked Gunplay in the studio, right? This dude had such an amazing ear that he could hear the latency in the Pro Tools rig that was being used. And when we were tracking him, he's like, "Yo, drag me a little bit to the left. Drag me a little bit to the left. Oh, okay, that sounds good."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's fucking loving hip hop. On camera, fucking, doing all types of wild stuff, but still, but has that ear and has that talent to say, hey, you know what I mean? There's latency in this rig that we're using. Let's work that out manually. You know what I mean? And it's just producers have a tendency to think because they spend the most time on the computer that they're more technically proficient, smarter, that they work harder.
I think we are. I think we are, and we do. But here's the thing that we don't want to mix up: working harder and working more doesn't always necessarily mean more fame or more money. Like they're not the same. That's where the confusion comes from. The
Right.
confusion comes from the beat maker going, I'm passionate, I love it, I do a lot, I learn a lot, I invest a lot, I download a lot, I do a whole lot. You appear to come into my room and barely get off 8 bars. I need you to pay me because I'm compressing everything that went into this moment. You're not. You're just gonna go get some smoke and go with old girl to the cookout or whatever. I'm gonna stay here and mix and master it. So I think on a technical level, producers, beat makers and producers, or people who are engineers and producers and beat makers, whatever your skill set is, I do think the weight of what we do is probably way more important for the style of music to be executed properly. However, the end person, the person who buys the music, does not care about our contribution as much as we think they do. Because I can't even explain it, man. Like, remember how like they always ask the super producers, do you think there will ever be another super producer era? And how most of them say no, nothing is quite like that. Is because our market is very super wide now. People can go anywhere. If Just Blade or no Scott Storch says I want $1 million for this project, they'll just call Mike Will made it. You know what I mean? So because that exists, um, the only way for you to become a super producer again is for you to be a super producer again and put out your own material, pick up and sign your own artists, and then really being the most important person in that equation. But just in the general landscape, no,
Mm-mm.
no, the producer is not the most important. Like every time I make a beat, I'm gonna find 10 other YouTubers who probably made my beat already now. It's so crazy. Like, oh, MG, I heard that sample and such and such. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Especially if we're using Frank's Dukes and Kingsway,
Yep.
or even if we're just using the same arpeggiator and flow motion. Like, I heard that beat already. Like, our sauce, our secrets, our whatever it is so widespread that you really don't stand out unless you're more. And you take control, or you invest, or you brand, or you do something else too. You have to bring way more to the table to be more valuable than an artist these days.
Yeah, you just said something that I want to go back to, and you were talking about the end user, and I think that producers are so, because we're so keyed into the wave, and we're so keyed into the industry, and we're the ones who are learning about the business, and we know about the behind the scenes stuff. We have a tendency to put a lot of value on that, and also because we're inside people, we most of us aren't like tremendously social. We'd rather be spending our time making music than going out to the club and everything. um you don't understand the end user. So that's why every 3 months I'll go to Tootsie's with my girl, and just watch people and listen to music, and see how that affects them, because that's an important experience to have. Somebody was trying to make the point, that was converse to what you were saying. They were saying, his whole thing was the content of the music, and he's like, what's more famous, Metro Boomin's producer tag, or some lyric that the Migos said. So he's thinking about producers. We know who Metro Boomin is, and we know if he don't trust him. None of these women out here know who Metro Boomin is and if he's trustworthy or not. They don't fucking care. Nobody knows producer tags, son. Only producers and rappers. On top of that, to make that point, what do you think is more popular? If Young Metro don't trust you, I'ma shoot you, or the phrase bad and bougie? Okay, I mean, bad and bougie, they use that shit on CNN. You know what I mean? Like that, like that cracked the American lexicon. Nobody was talking about bougie. Every hot woman on Instagram changed her screen name to Bad and Bougie for at least 3 months after that song came out. Nobody's ever changed their name to it. Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, dude, and to drive it home even more, like, does anybody know Dark Child's tag? He had more hits than anybody in the super producer era. They don't know what Dark Child's tag are. Does anybody know what the Runner's first tag was? No. No, nobody knows what the first Runner's tag is. Because their beats were like a breath of fresh air, and then that didn't work out, so they had to run with it. We go by the Runners. But the thing is, we put so much emphasis on branding, and you're right, we do so much that it's easier. I'm just kind of talking through this because I didn't consider that. We do so much that it is easy to, and it does appear that they do so little. But you got to go on the flip side. Through the creation process, we're the workhorse. But in order to make those songs go, we're not buying into tours. You know what I mean? Like whenever you see one of your local rappers do a 30 city tour, dude, that guy paid 10 racks to get on that tour.
Easily.
And, yeah, he paid 10 racks to get on that tour, and then on top of that, he has to pay another 5 to 7 to get everywhere he needs to go to eat. All with the prospect of maybe selling some merch. You know what I'm saying? It's the rapper who has to deal with the Christmas time conversation. Oh, so you're still doing your music? You're gonna be a rock star? What do you sing? you know what I mean? There's struggles on both sides.
Yeah.
But if people keep, I just feel like if people keep on this path, and this is going to be the last time I say it, the rapper is really going to realize how much they don't need you. And once dude, once they get there, you think it's hard to sell beats now? Imagine how hard it's going to be to sell beats once I put up 15 how to mix trap vocal tutorials, and I start teaching all the rappers how to make beats, because that's what's coming.
No, that's already happened. Jeez, I think Kanye West started that publicly. I think Kanye West, being a rapper producer, kind of did it, right? Because like 2002, 2003 at least, a lot of those rappers was like, yo, I'm gonna get a beat from this guy, Ninth Wonder, this guy. Everyone putting out the little struggle mixtapes, and then if that didn't work out, or if they didn't get the buzz or clout, then they started becoming videographers, because that was a buzz. Learning how to use cameras and video recording. And
that's how French got in.
Exactly. And if that didn't pan out, they became producers and beat makers. In fact, I think a lot of the attitudes that we have, I think even Sunny Digital and them said it. I think Hit Boy said it. I think some of your so-called super producers are today were rappers first. They say, yeah, we were rapping, it didn't work out. I learned how to make beats for dudes. Like almost all of them say that in the same breath. I wanted to be a rapper first. It was too hard for me, or I was too ugly, and I had to go back and hide in the cave and make beats. Cool, whatever. But I think that's already happened. I think I think dirty South music, trap music, is a side effect of the fact that rappers are making beats. I think everyone else kind of forgot that.
Ooh, hot take.
And I think no, it is. It's in all their stories. So you get that kind of music that's energy efficient, that's not really chordal, that's not really over the top, because the rapper hears their voice as they're making it. They already know what it's going to be. They made themselves the star through us choosing that style of music and that type of arrangement. You cannot flex like Scott Storch on a trap beat. That's why all the Scott Storch trap beats sound horrible. And I mean that from a Scott Storch loving person.
Yeah.
You can't mix those two worlds. Like you need to dumb it down. You feel me?
Yeah.
So who you think dumbed it down? Me? Sure as hell not me. If I had it my way, I had 20 pads in that bitch. So now we're using 2 or 3 melodic elements, and that's it. And the bass. As long as the bass is hitting, the rapper's voice is in the mid pocket, you're out of here. You're out of here to the stars. So I think CMP is. We've probably had a Trojan horse for a while. The thing is, we're going to see a lot of those producers become rappers again, and I think because they've taken all the sauce with them and they're rapping or doing whatever that evolution is, because we're trying to make it cool to be old in hip hop. I think you're going to see them take that vacuum of energy back.
You think so?
Yes.
Hey, it could happen.
They're going to shit on all of us. They're like, man, that producer thing ain't nothing, man. You know, I rap, I sing, I record my own stuff. I met a few of those people in my life who did it all, but never did anything. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's understated to say, you know, be good or be good at it at this particular point in the conversation.
Yeah, man. Because when I look at my days rapping, right? When it came to beats, I always went through the path of least resistance, right? Because I knew that my rap was gonna make the track. So there would be local producers, you know, back in 2004, 5, 6, when the beat game was the beat game. You know what I mean? And they would wanna charge $350, $400 just to get the beat and for me to put it on my Pro Tools, you know, because they were getting that out here in Miami. That was happening. So I was like, I like your beats, bro. I'd like to work with you. I don't got that to invest in my project, so I'm gonna just go to this website I heard about called SoundClick, and I'm gonna download these free beats with tags on it. You know, my voice is louder than the tags. I'll just rap over the tags. So I feel like when you have people in the culture like J. Cole, right, who's as popular and as dominant as he is. You have someone like Russ, you know, who's as popular and as dominant as he is in his lane.
So you beat right off Instagram.
Yeah, it's very easy for a rapper to look up and say, you know what, them beats you're doing aren't that hard. You know what I mean? I could click that in an FL Studio. All you're doing is getting these melodies from Splice, you know. So, you know, I could download my own Splice packs, you know, and
Duke's packs. I can go straight to Frank Duke's myself too.
Yeah, and if they wanted to, they could get the drum loops straight off of Splice. Splice is selling the 808 loops, 3 tracks, and they don't need nothing for it, man. So if I was you guys, you know, you could feel how you want to feel, but if your goal isn't to be an EDM producer, then just keep that shit to yourself. You know what I mean? Like just keep, like, if you feel like you're the most important person in the room, that's fine, but don't talk that shit. It's very counterproductive, because at the end of the day,
I can see it.
At the end of the day, you need a rapper more than a rapper needs you. Rapper don't need you. There's 15,000 of you.
Sadly.
And the more and the rappers that you really want to work with, the ones that you're dreaming about working with, you're not as important as them. Because they got to pick you for you to even have the clout to talk about, I need my name in the title of the song.
I think that's why I like the internet, though. Because you're absolutely right. If you're pursuing that path, which I'm always chasing myself, I do understand that. But then I also understand, like, I'm going to be the best person in the room, even if I'm quiet, because that's how serious I am about work. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm serious. I want them to sense that. I want my power level to be sensed from 2 planets away.
Yes.
I want people to feel that. But at the same time, vocally, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, I don't need that song with that rapper. I can make all my money online. I know that's not true, people. I've been online since 2003. I know kids. I watched them on Genius Deconstructed, and they talk about the check that they got for that song none of us listen to. and then I think about like how much money I accrued in PayPal since 2002, it ain't the same. It ain't the same.
It's not the same.
That's from a pick me situation. He got pick me, and that's the last we'll hear from him because they're not as focused and concentrated. But just to catch one of those, pick me too, damn it. I ain't oh no, baby.
I want to go.
My 500 series costs way too much for you not to pick me.
Hey.
And if you understand time, because money is a time traveler. Money helps you get further in your development in time. If you want to get to the money, it was what everyone's talking about in this discussion, then you want to understand the dynamics of our social creatures. Rappers have to be the most important. Should be, not are, have to be.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that's what rap is.
That's what I've been trying. Thank you. That's what I've been trying to say. You nailed it. Go on, please.
So the rapper has to be the most important. So if you understand that from a social level, then you can get with the program. And there's a couple of ways you can deal with it. Like if you deal with humans like humans, and you forget the bravado of how good your beats are or who you better than, and just deal with them as a person and understand what they're going through and some of the challenges they have, and you're able to fill in the gaps in some of that. Like, for instance, being a beat maker who can record or being a beat maker who can master. Like, if you add these different skills and you bring it to the table to these people, then you have more utility for them. And it's not about your beats. You know why? Because success is really not about the music either.
Facts.
Either. Well, how many of these hit songs are the same formula? So it can't be about this precious human mental resource that comes up with the craziest, most original ideas all the time. It's a hustle. It's a jug, man. The music industry was founded by the damn mafia.
Yes, it was.
It's counting numbers, bro. It's a jug. It's like we're gonna run the bets against whatever people respond to. That's why he sits in the club. That's why I reverse engineer shit in Serato. You're jugging. You're waiting to hit that slot. You're waiting to hit it. You're like, yo, I think I got the right combination of shit I noticed. And when I bring it and I present it to the people that I'm in front of, they're going to respond to it. And I'm betting on that, fam. That's why that purist conversation is trash to me. Because they're going to be playing Beethoven and Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star for the rest of their life in their bedroom on a Yamaha PSR. Because they do not make the connection that is not about them and how fast their fingers move. It's about time and attention. What has the masses' attention, and how much time do you have to open up that door for you to be in front of them? And then once that stops, once you finally catch it and you miss, it changes to something else. So you got to run up to that again. And when the problem is when you have 15,000 other people saying, pick me, pick me, pick me, you don't stand out as much if you're going, I don't need them anyway. You don't stand out as much if you're just, I'm going to keep it real to myself. I don't care what a rapper want. I'm dope by myself. You're not. That's the real part of it. That's the human part of it. Because you don't understand what's happening.
And it's hard to accept that you put this much effort into it.
Yeah.
But you're at the mercy at somebody who doesn't care as much as you do. And I think and I think that
anybody who got a job understands that, CMP.
Well, but I think that, but not a lot of producers have jobs, and especially the younger ones, and I think that's why they're, everybody's so pro equality, because we're in this where equality is such like a big word, so everything has to be equal and the outcomes have to be equal, and that's where everybody. I don't want to do that, but anyway, This is what I don't like about the producer community, because when this conversation came up, all of the other talking heads were using their voice, and they weren't speaking reality. Everybody was coming, and that's why there's still so many people in my comments talking about it. They're both equal contributions. They're not equal contributions. So the way that the reason why that's happening is because everybody who responded to it, who people might value their opinion more than mine because they have more plaques or whatever, is because they're saying, hey, this discussion doesn't get us anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
They start shooting bail.
Yeah, because the position that they've put themselves in is so pro producer community that they've put themselves in a position where they can't say anything honest. You know what I mean? Where, I mean, they could say honest things, but when it comes to this discussion, they can't really be 100% raw and honest, because they because listen, those producers are making most of their money off of producers. All right.
Yes.
And this goes back to the whole loops thing. If you guys don't see this and you don't understand it, learn it now. You know what I mean? Like, most producers are making their bags off of producers. You know what I mean?
And that's why Internet Money attacked me for the Wave Supply comments and not the Sting comment.
Yes, exactly. Because you were gonna, you know, I don't understand how so many producers don't fucking see this shit, but that's what this whole and that's the reason why I don't like the term producer community, because the people who espouse this, the people who are the ones who are waving the flag for the producer community, they're doing it not, I mean, I don't know what their heart is, but in a business level, it's more beneficial for them to maintain this idea of a community, because that community financially supports them. And if they were to come out and be like, well, you know, you guys are my custies, that warm and fuzzy feeling where they come through and they're like, hey, I support you, bro. You know what I mean? You don't get that bag anymore.
I think that's why I overcompensate. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's probably the most important topic too. Because like a lot of people hear this and think they can monetize the producer community too, and they're not going to be able to, because you'll be missing something. You're going to be the same thing you're missing to why you don't sell enough beats. Is that the magic of why people gravitate towards any of your products has something to do with you. Like I use the word tribe instead of community, because I do not think me, DJ Payne One, and all the other personalities are in the same neighborhood. But when we say community, we talk about the people participating at large. I say tribe because it's more narrow and succinct, as like people who think or feel or have the same background as I do. And then what happens is when you focus on them, all the outsiders start looking in and becoming passive aggressive or sneaking into the chat or start doing the Trojan horse thing. So we're having a Trojan horse in the producer community because people like me exist, CMP exists, and we're saying, you know what, let's just piss on all of their models and just expose it for what it is, just in case the people who may be hypnotized by their personality may not know that that's a viable way of making income. But I say all that to say, you still got to put as much work into it. If you're gonna change your ship direction and you think you're just going to be getting off your free loot packs on Twitter and everyone's gonna run to you, I got a rude awakening for you. The fact that we're talking about this out loud means it's too late. Those social media platforms I was talking about in Sweden and Switzerland, where they're gonna let us all connect to the cloud and share music with each other, too late. MPC Exchange already came out. Too late. It's too late. And that's what happens. By the time it becomes commonplace and y'all start acting like I been knew that, you know, I suspected it, it's too late now. Now it's going to hit a critical mass, it's going to hit a threshold, and guess what? It's going to compress, and we're going to have to add complexity again. That's why people like me and CMP go, shit, we need to pick up the Akai in the fucking 500 series, because if everyone's flipping Keyscape and motherfucking Slate Digital, how does it, from the ear perspective, how do you sound different than all the 10,000 other kids on Twitter who's going to be going to Nick Mirror Internet Money? Pick me. You guys are hiring, pick me. How can you stand out if it sounds exactly the same? Don't matter what your chord is, Yamaha PSR user. So you have to add complexity to stand out. And that comes up in our social media images. That comes up in these discussions. That comes up in our YouTube videos. You're not just being inundated with people who make dope beats with dope VSTs. You're buying the whole fucking image. And you have to think about that as your own store or your own presentation too. It's not just how dope your beats are, fam. It's everything about you. You have to bleed and breathe and sweat which you are about. It's MG, you know what I'm about. Like, I'm about all of it. So that has helped me embrace myself. It had nothing to do with how dope my beats are, you know? And I'm sure CP same thing. He's been making trap for God knows how long, and he can just do it like this. Does that get him any closer or further than Metro on the merit of trap alone or merit of being good at trap? No, it has to be other things to be aware of. And hopefully we're doing a good job at least making you aware of that fact.
No, facts, bro. That was fantastic. I hope people really heard that and internalized it, man, because and I think that's the most important thing that people need to realize about these discussions, because I think the more that we talk, the further we're gonna pull back the curtain. But you guys have to understand the fact that I'm just gonna say it again. The fact that we do it means it's too late for that. So you don't want to be behind the curve. One of the things as it like in my production journey that has always been extremely difficult for me to cope with is I've always been a person who is wanted to I learned from people very early to don't try to ride the wave. I seen from how albums were created that by the time you hear a beat and it's on an album, that rapper isn't looking for that beat again. They're always looking for new stuff. Anytime I've ever worked with somebody who had a deal, they never came to me and been like, "Yo, can I get that beat that sounds like the hottest beat on the radio right now?" They're like, "Yo, play me something new." They're always interested in hearing something new. What's frustrating for me is I was always new, but I was like too new. You know what I mean? Like for example, like 2010, I was doing a whole bunch of stutter edit transitions, and that was in trap beats, and that was throwing everybody off. So I went back, took those transitions off those trap beats, and where I had those transitions, I put the Lex Luger rises in, took those same beats back to the same studio, and sold 6 beats in a day to the same people I had played them with the stutter edit transitions. Now today, stutter edit is $49.99. We heard Guru say it. We heard Guru say it, and everybody wants to run out and buy stutter edit. So that's where I always throw my fits. And I know that it's a difficult thing to try to stay on that wave, but guys, if you get it and you stay focused on that, you work hard, you will catch what you want to do, and you will, and you set goals, you'll knock those goals out. But what's not the move is making a whole bunch of fucking beats and getting on your public social media where everybody can read your tweets and talking about how you don't need the people that you're trying to have patronize. That shit ain't gonna work, man.
You gotta change market. You gotta do EDM, or you gotta do lo-fi tapes. You gotta get out of that. You gotta get out of the producer community, which is the funny part.
And I think that's a big problem that in this moment in history that people aren't really cognizant of, bro, is you have some social media accounts. That social media account is curated towards your tastes, likes, to what you write, to you give Google and Twitter authorization to listen to your phone while while you're not even on it, and that's how you get all them advertisements. So you have this curated playlist to what you like to be shown. You're not being shown the world.
Everything. No.
You're not being shown the world. You're just being shown what you like to see. And if what you like to see is the producer community and how great you are, you're always going to see that. You have to go outside. You have to go to the studio. The reason why I have this opinion and why you were saying, that the rapper needs to be the most important part of the situation for the situation to work, and why they are not equals, is because what a lot of people don't understand about collaborating with rappers is that the most important thing in that situation is the rapper's ego. You know what I mean? If you go and you break that and you attack that, you're killing vibes, bro. You know what I mean? When a rapper comes to a studio, especially if you're dealing with the real thing. Like I'm not talking about like conscious rappers. Like I'm talking about like, you want to make trap music, so you're working with the local trap boys. These guys are out in the field taking chances, doing stuff you wouldn't do.
For real.
Spending this money, right? And this time in the studio is their escape. They get to go from taking chances to feeling like something that's greater than they are. You know what I mean? Because trapping for real at any level is not fun. It's not cool. It's not glamorous. It is hard fucking work, dude. You know what I mean? It's a very blue collar occupation. So when they come into the studio, it's a release. You know what I mean?
Yeah, spiritual, bro. It's like going to church.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody who is in that studio is there to serve them.
Yep.
And if you're a producer and you're in that situation, and you want to continue to be in that situation, and you want to build relationships, you got to swallow your fucking pride, get out of the producer community, and understand this dude is the most important person in the room, and I'm going to act accordingly. That's all I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm not trying to tell you that you ain't shit. I'm not trying to tell you that you don't contribute. I'm not trying to tell you that your contribution to music and that your vibe and your soul and everything that you do, I'm not trying to minimize that. What I'm saying is if you want to be a rap producer and you don't want to be an instrumental artist, bro,
attitude adjustment.
Bro, you got to adjust your attitude. Life is 90% attitude, dude.
Agreed. There's nothing else to say about that on that topic. Yeah, everything's an attitude adjustment, and I think most of my leaps and bounds and progress have been made by me tweaking my attitude, and that's why I love talking to different people who do what I do. I love talking to people who have different or more experiences than I have. I love being able to have access to people who may have made more mistakes than I have, because I can understand how to tweak my attitude to either be more like or less like them. So, your success is not how many beats you make a day. Your success is not whether it's the MPC or Fruity Loops. We all know that. Like, we know that in a core level. It's not the actual function of you making something. So success, that X factor that like magnetizes people there at an early age, or manifests them when they're 15, they finally make it. The difference between those two stages has to be something that's nothing to do with what we're talking about usually. It has to be something up here. And unfortunately, the people who do understand what that is, they're not selling that course anytime soon.
No, that's not coming out.
What we're trying to do is give you the best words for it. It's like reframe your mind, change your attitude about things, invest in yourself. You understand, like, the invest in yourself is that conversation is never about how much money Frank Dukes or Waves is going to make. It's always about you. It's like a selfish thing. Like, yo, you need to get in the habit of investing in yourself, fool. And people are like, oh, no, I can just download it for free, and, fuck them. I can go to Reddit. And, like, yeah, you stunting on them, but, yo, that's the shit I was doing when I was 15. That doesn't impress me. We did that shit 15 years ago. We all could, we all can, we can all do. But why did we stop? That was an attitude adjustment.
Yep.
The fuck, you think I don't know how to find the Russian torrents? You think my computer can't handle that? Are you serious?
Oh, we Mac
boys.
We
go fiber out here.
We Mac boys. We could go full AIDS.
Eat that shit up. The fucking keyed version. That shit's always being thrown at. That's just I can go to Facebook and fuck around and catch a key from a Facebook group, bro. But the reason why we don't is because it was an attitude adjustment. And what happens is, if you realize what made you sick to begin with, you get allergic to it. That's what happened. It's not that I'm talking down on people who pirate or all that. No. I'm talking down against the attitude of that.
Yes.
Not the reality of it, the attitude. You really have the audacity. You think you're shitting on anything I'm doing because you downloaded it for 3 hours? You think I want to sit here and do tech support for some shit? You just clicked and went and ate some McDonald's and you bought your Concord Jordans at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning, $200, but you can't buy a $10 sample pack? That's all attitude judgment.
Yep.
It ain't got nothing to do with results or beat making or what it was. It's all attitude. So if it's attitude for me to go, I'm buying a fucking gold MPC Live, then it's got to be attitude for everything else that you think you have a barrier to entry to. It has to be.
Big facts, bro. Well, I hope you guys understand where we're coming from. I hope you could put some of this into motion. I hope you guys could stop cussing out your custies, and it'll lead you to more beat sales and placements. This is CMP with Craftmaster Productions. Keep it simple. Do not be basic. And we will see you on the next one.
MGthefuture.com. You know what I'm about. Peace.